I do have a lot of respect for the healthcare community in all forms. I've been in the hospital with things, and my family's been there, and those people work very hard. At least, you know, who I've come across, whether it was me from cancer care and going through cancer in 2022, or my grandpa passing away in his older age, and really, like, it was so hard watching him go downhill. It really was, brothers and sisters. A man I love so much, watching him deteriorate and, be on a lot of medication, so his mental health was very foggy. That was very scary and upsetting for me. And I get through these things with Jesus Christ. When my mom passed away in 2017 from a stroke suddenly, I needed Jesus Christ so much, and I cried out to him, and he did comfort me because I've been getting through it. Sure, I don't like the way things are now, and I miss my family because family's so important. I love my family, especially my close knit family. And I've mentioned a million times on this channel, I grew up with my mom and grandma and grandpa. So I basically had three parents, and they were they were and are some of the most loving, caring people that I know. I wouldn't trade them for anything. God has gifted me that, and I'm so grateful to God, and God knows this. So when it comes to healthcare, that's a big thing. Like the surgeon and doctor that did the surgery on my cancer in my leg, I really respect him. He does a lot for the children's hospitals, and I don't know, it's amazing to me that men and women can just like, oh yeah, I'll just cut you open and take something out and do, and how they can do that without being like so nervous and right? Like you have people's lives in your hands. That's a big deal. That is a very big deal. And again, it's even things as like people that were taking care of my grandpa, like the nice nurses that he had and everything. It was not perfect. There were certain hospital conditions. My grandpa got moved around quite a bit in his last days, and that was hard to take. And like some of the healthcare was better at certain places than other places. But in Canada, we have free healthcare, and I wouldn't want it any other way. People deserve healthcare. People deserve to be taken care of. But there's a lot of people that don't help that cause. There's a lot of like it's over congested. Like we have urgent care. Instead of going to the emergency room now in where I live in Winnipeg, Canada, you go to urgent care. And I went there many times with my grandpa, and it would take up to like 24 hours to see a doctor. That is a long time to be sitting in a waiting room, not feeling very good. So again, free healthcare, it's great, but it's like it's not perfect because you have to wait a lot of times. And like one of the ways around that, I guess, is to call an ambulance because you'll get into the hospital sooner. But I'm just kind of ranting now. My point is, I appreciate healthcare people. Like I make sure when I go for healthcare stuff, I make sure that I thank the people that are working there and let them know that I appreciate what you do. It's a hard job to do in any aspect of healthcare. When I say healthcare, I am not pro-choice. I am not pro-child murder, pro-abortion. I am pro-life. God does not want us to murder. That includes babies in the womb. I know this is a controversial topic in quotes, but it shouldn't be. There is cases of incest and rape, but I think those are the minority, right? A lot of people just like have unprotected sex before they're married, which is a sin altogether. I've done that, so I'm not trying to be like, I'm above that or something. But I've been celibate for many, many years. And if God gives me a wife and I meet her and things work out, I'll be very grateful because that is something that I would cherish with all my heart, mind, soul, and strength. But a lot of people sleep around. A lot of people aren't very careful. A lot of people don't care about God and his ways. A lot of people just want what feels good, on and on and on. In media, whether it's music videos, they're very sexual, and like the songs about that. And like when people say, there's a song that's like, I want to make love in this club, make love in this club. I don't know if it's Usher or somebody like that. He's talking about having intercourse outside of marriage in a club. Just think about that. I want to make love. When they say make love, it sounds better, right? It doesn't sound so harsh and gross. But it's harsh and gross. That's what it is. You're going to have sex in a club with everyone dancing around you and just like not be married to the person and not care what God thinks and on and on and on. Sex is a big part of our world. You know, I've definitely been like in my teenage years, I looked at a lot of pornography. I wanted to have sex with a lot of different people, and I didn't care, but like God also put it on my heart to be careful about that. And if I'm personal for a minute here, I hope my grandpa wouldn't mind me saying this, but in talking to my grandpa about Jesus, one of the things I said, I'm like, well, we've had sex outside of marriage and blah, blah, blah. And my grandpa's like, no, actually, I haven't had sex outside of marriage. So my grandpa was faithful to my grandma from the very beginning. And I honor and respect him for that. That is something that's hard to do. And my grandpa had 5 children with my grandma and raised a wonderful family. No one's perfect, but like I love my family. That's all I'll say. I won't get too far into it, but like for my grandpa to be, I didn't know that about my grandpa. I knew that very late in his life, in his last days, where he told me that, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty amazing that grandpa did that. And in a way, I wanted to do that, but I failed. I definitely failed because temptation, the flesh is weak. We all know this. Sex is a big part of our world. So again, going back to health and healthcare, I appreciate people in the healthcare system so very much. It's a very, very hard and stressful job. Any aspect of it, like taking care of the elderly, right? You have to like change diapers and it gets kind of gross and messy and whatever. And then people like in like surgery, people in like the urgent care and like if someone has a heart attack all of a sudden, you got to be on your feet and like fix them real fast and that kind of thing. Like there's so much in the healthcare industry that it's like, that is amazing that people can do this and, you know, like do it every day. Get up and be like, I got to go through another stressful day. And I'm not saying every day is super stressful, but it's a lot. It's a lot to be in healthcare. So my point is, after ranting about all of that, Dr. quote unquote, Dmitry Daskalaskis, he's the deputy coordinator of the White House National Monkeypox Response Team. What a handle to have, hey? And it says, Dmitry C. Dalakakis is an American physician and gay health activist, serving as the director division of the HIV/AIDS Prevention National Center for HIV/AIDS, Viral Hepatitis, ST. Like, I am not trying to be rude to anybody. But if you don't think that sodomy and homosexuality, which God calls sin and abomination, doesn't lead to a greater chance of HIV/AIDS and STDs, it does. Why? Because sodomy, I'll just say, is a very unsafe way to have sexual intercourse. And I should have probably started this video with like, if you have young people watching this, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be like overly, I'm not trying to like glorify this. I'm not trying to be overly sexual in my speak. I'm just trying to tell it like it is. And people need to know this, even children, but like, there's a lot of things in life, right? Like drag queen story hour for children. No, thank you. But talking about like, abstaining from sex till you're married, that's a good thing. And that's very hard to do. But people should know that. Children should know that. Be like, there's a lot of peer pressure. There's a lot of pressure from television and media, right? Like the singers and actors and this and that. They're overly sexualized. They dance and they have songs about sex. And like I've been saying, right? But this guy, deputy coordinator of the White House, a doctor, HIV/AIDS preventionist, whatever, right? I guess it's Halloween. He's dressed up. He's got the pentagram in a circle, which is a satanic gesture or a satanic symbol, and his buddy is wearing a crown of thorns. Good for him, right? When I think healthcare and getting my needs taken care of, I think of this picture. New York City Health, and the guy's wearing the BDSM shirt, whatever you want to even call that. I'm not into that stuff at all. And never have been, never will be. I find it grotesque, and I guess that's his kink. But Can't he separate his healthcare doctor stuff from his perverted kinks in the bedroom? I guess not. Right? And the very same thing. It's an upside down pentagram and very BDSM looking. Oh, he's got another upside down pentagram, and there's the fire and flames of hell behind him. He's got some neck tattoos, right? I'm just a judgmental Christian. I should definitely go to this guy for healthcare if I want some. No, I'm going to use discernment and say, I think I will stay away from this guy. Thank you very much. He's sticking out the mocking tongue and he's throwing up the devil horns, probably because he's rock and roll and likes AC/DC so much, right? Oh, now he's wearing a suit and glasses, so now he's totally acceptable. The illusion of the world. Right? Right? He's at the White House press conference here. The White House is in the background and the Oval, and the American flag is there. He's wearing glasses to look smart. He's wearing a suit, so he kind of like, well, I know what I'm talking about, and blah, 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 blah. Everything that looks legit is legit in this world, right? No, it is not. Again, HIV and AIDS with homosexuals, it's like that for a reason, because God calls it sin and abomination, Sodom and Gomorrah, sodomy. It is an unsafe way to, quote unquote, have sexual intercourse. It is very risky, and you're more susceptible to having STDs and HIV and AIDS. You just are. I'm not lying about this. The science, right? I'm a Christian. I do believe in science, not the Freemason science of the stupid globe and all that garbage, but I believe in real science. And yeah, that's an unsafe way to have sexual intercourse, and it leads to things like HIV, AIDS, and STDs. It's Halloween, so he's wearing a pentagram and a circle. His buddy's dressing up with a crown of thorns. Right? If you want health care, go to this guy. Like, what a joke. Again, I'm a doctor. I work for the White House. Okay, that makes sense. Sure you do, buddy. Another pentagram in the circle and the fires of hell behind him. The devil horns and the mocking tongue. Oh, everything's fine now. He's wearing a suit. Don't mind all the other stuff we just saw. You know what I'm saying, everyone? I do get sarcastic on this channel because that's the way God made me. And I think sarcasm, it's a fun thing to have. In a very dark world, sarcasm can be like, like, again, I'm sarcastic. If you don't like my sarcasm, I'm sorry, but it's like, it's part of who I am. And I feel that the world is so smug and full of itself, all these Freemason losers. So as a Christian, I can be a little like, okay, sure then. Like, I can be a little sarcastic with things. I don't always have to be super empathetic to things. I can be like, okay, I'm going to call a spade a spade. And that's what I did in this video. I would not go to this person for healthcare, for a checkup. I would not believe him in politics. I would not do any of that. He's showing his colors and who he is. And just seeing all this, this is the way the world is. It's not just this one guy, Dimitri. It is many people like this. Sometimes it's obvious, like a Marilyn Manson guy who's like very open about it. Other times it's like, well, this guy's wearing a suit and glasses, so he's totally legit. He looks like he's smart, right? Okay. He's covered in tattoos, got the upside down pentagram, BDSM movement, right? New York City health. Okay then. It's all about discernment and discretion, brothers and sisters. I am not judging this person unfairly. I think, honestly, without patting myself on the back, I'm hitting the nail on the head because it needs to be said. These things need to be said. We need to use discernment, discretion, and we need to use judgment. If people say, why are you judging? That is them judging you for using judgment. Honestly, that's what exactly it is. Everyone uses judgment. If they don't think so, they're a hypocrite and a liar. Everyone uses judgment. When I think about children, I think about their safety and their health, and they should be protected. Not the way the world's going, drag queen story time at the library. Give me an absolute break. Would you go see a doctor that's dressed up like this? I wouldn't. And again, if I'm a bigot or whatever, you want to call me any number of names, I don't care. I'm going to use judgment and discernment to the best of my ability and go, no, I'm probably going to go with God and his ways. I will pray to God to lead me to the right people. And again, I started this video with like saying how good the healthcare system is. Where I live, I'm grateful for it. Again, like there's a lot of wait time because, it's a free healthcare system, but I think it should be. I would want Dimitri to have free healthcare. I'm not against him. I'm not saying he shouldn't have healthcare or anything. I'm saying maybe he shouldn't practice it, but I want him to be safe and saved and have health care just like every other person. I'm not against that. I want people, no matter who they are, if they're my best friend or my brother or sister in Christ, or if they're my enemy and they believe in Satan and do horrible things, I still want them to have health care, clean water, and, I want them to be taken care of. I want them to have food to eat and shelter. I want that for all people. If they choose to go down the wrong path, that's up to them, and they'll find out if they end up in hell. And I don't wish that upon anyone. I want people to be saved, to find the truth in Jesus. But am I going to sit here as a Christian or as a normal human being and go, I'm just going to ignore all of these signs, symbols, and agendas that rule the world? No, I'm not going to do that. And I hope if I point things out to other people, they'll go like, yeah, that's kind of strange that he's dressed like that as a doctor, right? And he's at the White House in a suit and tie and glasses? Okay, well, right? If you saw this guy giving a speech, you'd go like, oh, sure, he knows what he's talking about. He looks like a smart doctor guy, whatever, whatever. And then you see this stuff and you're like, well, maybe I should reconsider what I'm talking about. You can't always judge a book by its cover, and I don't do that, but I'm not going to be naive. I'm not going to sit here and go like, oh, upside down pentagram and the flames of hell behind him, neck tattoos and etc. Not that people make mistakes and get tattoos. I don't have any tattoos except for when I went through radiation therapy, I got two blue dots on my legs with a pen in my leg that hurt a whole lot. And I don't wish that upon anyone. It was very painful, but I have those forever. But it's to remind me that I went through something. I didn't ask for those marks on my legs, but I have them on my legs. But this guy went through and got neck tattoos. Remember 30 years ago, maybe not even, where a neck tattoo would be a sailor or a gang member, whatever, would have neck tattoos. And that was basically it. Now neck and face tattoos and hand tattoos and whatever are just normal. And again, I'm not trying to be overly judgmental, but neck tattoos, a doctor, it just doesn't go together for me. I don't jive with that. I'm not saying people, I know there's people on this channel that have tattoos, and maybe some of you regret it. Maybe some of you don't and say what are you talking about? My tattoos are cool, dude. Shut up. That's up to you. But God doesn't want us to mark our bodies. He wants us to be pure and holy. And that's hard to be in this world because there's so much sin and abomination everywhere we look. We're looking at a doctor that's working for the White House, right? And so, again, my family and friends and etc. and certain people on the internet can't see this. What is your deal? Why can't you see this? Why can't you see the world as biblical? It totally is biblical. All of this stuff is nonsense. Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, the life. So I'm going to wrap this up, but if you think I'm judging this person unfairly, let me know in the comments. Be nice about it, please, because I'm not judging him unfairly. I'm using discernment and discretion. I'm using judgment in a righteous way that it's okay, well, if I were going to this man for some kind of health care, I don't think I'd go to him for health care because I don't trust him. I don't trust his decisions that he's made. He's wearing the pentagram 4 or 5 times. And again, just everything about it says, no, not going along with it. The White House, right? Barack Obama was in the White House before. The guy that's married to a man, Michael Obama, that's totally gay. And they hide all that stuff. Michelle is Michael. They hide that. The average person can't handle that truth because they're oh, Michelle Obama, she's a nice lady. No, like he does the Uttara Bodhi Mudra and he dresses like a woman and got surgery. There you go. So I'm ranting a bit now and I'm going to stop this video, but again, there's so much going on in this world that is antichrist. It's hard to cover it all in one video. So I do rant at times and I just want people to understand, and a lot of people do understand. Thousands of Christians understand that we live in a deceitful world that is lying to us. When it comes to health care, I want health care for everyone. Is this the person you're going to go to for health care? Not me, just saying. God bless you, everyone.